Hello everyone, it is Pelican Dude, and welcome back to Planetary Annihilation Galactic War, Second Foundation, a game where we have finally found a system with more than one planet. And what is this? I've never seen that before, but oh well, because we gotta fight these guys first, so we will find out what that is, presumably in the next episode. But for now, just out of curiosity, okay, we can't even see these other systems until we conquer this one. But we'll probably conquer this one. Eventually, I'll go back around and clean up some of the edges here. Not sure if I want to actually have an episode for each of these single planet systems, if they're just exactly the same as all the ones that we've been doing previously. You guys, maybe if you want to comment if you actually care to see me conquer a bunch more single planet systems, or if we just want to focus on the core as we slowly breach into it, where we presumably will get more interesting battles. I don't know. Let's find out how this game plays with now that we actually have two planets to deal with, which is proper. Again, I think I complained about earlier in the series, which was kind of a joke, because I get it's a game, but also kind of a reality that, like, okay, so we've got a planet with a moon here. This is nice. It's very interesting. As far as we can tell, our observations to date seem to indicate that virtually every single star, effectively, in the universe, more than likely, not all of them, there are some, fringe cases, but, like, effectively, all stars seem to have planets. Even some stars that just seem, like, absurd, like, they seem like they'd be far too violent, it's like, no, they still have planets. So, it just seems incredibly unlikely that you'd... And usually they have multiple planets, so again, it just seems incredibly unlikely that we would actually have this many systems in a row if this was, real life, which I know it's not, I know it's a video game, whatever. If it was real life, the odds of finding that many one-planet star systems in a row, especially considering they were one planet that all the planets were, exactly the same type of planet, just seem incredibly unlikely. It would be possible because the universe is more or less infinite as far as we know, but extremely unlikely, which of course this is the interesting thing about infinity, of course, is that if the universe is actually infinite, if it really is that this is just the observable edge of the universe, but the universe goes beyond that, which I'm not like a super up to date on modern physics and whatever else, but I know that there's some ideas about this, that the universe does go on effectively to infinity. This, of course, gives the very weird implication that, technically speaking, the nature of infinity being that it goes on forever, that statistically, if you really did have a universe that went on just forever, there would be another Pelican Dude somewhere in the universe that is currently running a Let's Play channel on a website called YouTube, and is doing the exact same thing as I am right now, because just the nature of infinity technically means that there is no possible way that could not happen if it truly is infinite. But I don't know if it's really infinite in that exact way, but I don't know. I'm not a philosopher or a physicist or any of the other interesting things that you might be to think about these weird sort of lofty concepts of, is there another me out there? And technically, by nature of infinity, if there is really, an infinite amount, there's not actually just an infinite amount of... there wouldn't just be one extra me, there would be an infinite number of me's on an infinite number of YouTubes with an infinite number of Planetary Annihilation games. and an infinite number of everything in between, because, you know, infinity, it's like a number line where you've got, you know, 1, 2, 3, on for infinity. You can keep counting for infinity, but if you want to take decimals of those numbers, you know, 0.1, etc., you can go on for infinity within that one number, technically speaking. You know, you have multiple sets of infinity, which is sort of mind-blowing in a way. Yeah, it's weird to think about these things. I don't know. Like I said, I'm no expert though, so you can regard everything I say as rubbish in one form or another. Oh crap, we have enemies at the gate. Commander, if you can just start fixing this problem for us, thank you. I feel like the textures seem kind of weird. I don't know, but we should probably get to space soon. Go to space. Settle our moon base colony. Oh crap, we got enemies at the gate, like I was saying.
Main storage full. Military units.
Okay, we'll build our inner perimeter defense here. So yeah, we're in range. Bam, open up on them. The guns of the Pelican shall rain upon thee, and you shall feel my wrath, or something. I don't know, I'm not a poet either. I'm just a person who makes videos on the internet. And does other things. I mean, I breathe and eat and, you know, other human things. So, it's, I guess not the only thing I do, but you guys understand, I hope. Okay, and let's get some aircraft going on here, because things that fly are fun and deadly, but deadliness and fun tend to go together sometimes. Like the Grand Canyon and Niagara Falls, for instance. And I really hope this tank just kills this thing soon and moves in, or, you know what, we've probably got enough Doxes. Yeah, Doxes, attack. The Dachshund. They're funny. Like, these things are hilarious, I feel like. And why is the tracking camera so offset? I don't know. Whatever. Okay. Let's rebuild our base here. And eventually we need to push out that way and start colonizing that, which we'll do that now. And probably should get radar. Oh, I forgot to set a waypoint for these guys. Let's have all these make a couple of cons and a few fighters and then bombers. Oh, you know, it's interesting. I feel like one of the common misconceptions about aircraft in science fiction, be it, you know, a game like Planetary Annihilation here, or really just aircraft in general, or games in general, I feel like they often get aircraft very much wrong. And in this aspect, what I mean by that is, specifically fighters get wrong all the time. Like, usually, light fighters are called, like, interceptors. Like, think about Star Wars. So, in Star Wars, the A-Wing and the TIE Interceptor are both these extremely fast, so check, that's, you know, +1 for the realism technically there. Extremely maneuverable, and this is where things get, you know, a bit sketchy. And, like, their firepower tends to be kind of on par with or lower than the normal fighters. But what's interesting is, an A-Wing, while it's considered an interceptor in Star Wars, realistically, the A-Wing would be the snub fighter, or the air superiority fighter, and the X-Wing would probably be the interceptor. Now, I don't know, obviously you'd probably want more engines on the X-Wing, but basically, so the X-Wing would probably be an air superiority fighter, but then, you know, some other aircraft or spacecraft technically would be an interceptor, I suppose. But Because the way an interceptor works in real life is an interceptor is typically a heavier fighter than an air superiority fighter, because the interceptor is meant to go very fast. That's basically all they do, is they just go very fast, and they will carry lots of missiles, and they fly a very long range, but they're not designed to dogfight in the same way that a regular air superiority fighter would be designed to. And the reason for this, of course, is that an interceptor is more designed around the idea of taking out enemy bombers. You're not really necessarily going for the like a dog fighting role with an interceptor. It's mostly about a interception role, which makes sense. That's the whole name of this thing, is an interceptor. Speaking of which, so that is a halliable planet, so to speak, but obviously if we hally that into this, then there will be no planets left to be on, which is not exactly what we're going for. But we're going to make an Astraeus, and we'll send a con unit to the other planet, and that way we will have our we will be able to spread our empire. And I guess we should probably make some deep space orbital radar as well. But the interceptors are really designed to not be dogfighting units, is my point. And typically this is messed up all the time in science fiction, in movies, etc. That the interceptors are the anti-bomber units, and the real fighters that do the dogfighting, these are air superiority fighters, which makes sense just by looking at the names of what the things are. Alright, so we build ourselves our fortifications here. And we're leaving some of these places open, of course, because we still want to not lock ourselves in, but we're going to send a bunch of bots over this way, which these guys seem to be pathfinding really weird, very peculiar. Okay, and we've got fighters, so the fighters will provide cover. Let's figure out if there's any enemies here yet. Yep, but those bots will sweep through them. Oh, we've got a large enemy force moving in here. Okay, the turrets held them off, thankfully. The enemy is just trying to, like, settle essentially right into us, which is kind of amusing. Okay, and we've got enough anti-aircraft here to... Oh, they took out our fighters, unfortunately. But we've got advanced units now to make our advanced metal. And then some advanced energy, of course. Is the Astraeus? Yes, the Astraeus is ready. Speaking of which, let's get it out of there, because it's kind of merging into the combat. Let's send the commander. I don't think there's any enemies on the other planet yet, so I think the commander is an alright choice for this. And then we've got multiple enemies encroaching on us, so we should probably figure this out as to what our defense should be. Okay, we're gonna raid up here and take them out as best we can. Do I have a good supply of expendable construction units somewhere? Actually, you keep building expendable construction units, thank you. Because I want to send a force. Yeah, we'll send these force of cons up behind these guys here in the hopes of basically trying to take over their base as we go along. Let's see how far these bots actually make it. I have a feeling they're going to die, but there's not a lot of turrets, so should be okay. Where's the commander? He's in the Astrea, so we want to get him over here as quickly as possible. There, specifically. And here we go. Let's take out their orbital launcher. Really screwing up that base. Commander's en route. Their commander is... Please don't walk into me. I don't want you to die this way. This game would be terribly unsatisfying if the turrets kill you right now. AI commander, retreat, you idiot. Oh, crap. The enemy is already here, and they're making a warp portal. So you know what? I think our commander will be safer back on the starting planet. Although the enemy might not be around much longer anyway, because they're apparently an idiot. You know what? That enemy... Okay, then we win. That was incredibly anticlimactic. I'm really hoping for the multi-faction battles in the future to make things more interesting, because that was super easy. Okay, well, continue war, I guess, and we'll see what techs he had. I mean, at least we had some interesting discussion about science fiction fighters.
System is now under your control.
Okay. Let's get Titan tech, because as much as faster bots would be cool, we've already got pretty good bots, so I'm going to acquire Titan tech, and maybe we can have some serious fun. Now, what is this thing? Oh. So there's 3 planets. Cool. This one also has 3 planets. That's 2. Okay, we have gotten into some more interesting systems now, though, which this is super great. I think that we will start strafing this way, or maybe we'll jump in here and figure out what's actually in here, what this thingy is. If that's like, I wonder if that's a loadout. We'll jump in there, take that, and then we'll start strafing back this way to shore up our empire as we reclaim it from usurpers and barbarians. Let's see here. I'm getting close to having probably about a quarter of the galaxy under our control. Maybe not quite a quarter yet, but it's getting there. Which this is excellent. We've got, you know, the makings of a good, respectable future civilization going our way, which is excellent. So, all right, thank you for watching, everyone. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you'll continue to watch in the future. Have a nice day.